Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy, my channel is Finding Value. If you like making money, subscribe to the channel. I talk a lot about different undervalued sectors and investments, potential investments that you can have. And today I'm going to be going over helium. Helium is one that a subscriber wanted me to look into. So I'm looking into it and I'm giving my opinion on it. There's not as much data on helium versus some of the other commodity sectors. So some of this data I grabbed off of different websites. So hopefully those websites are accurate. I think this one was, I can't remember, it was from Helium 1. Helium 1 is a website that I grabbed it from. So let's dive in. Let's look at some of the helium charts. And I also did some technical analysis on some of the companies. And I don't know all the companies in this sector. So I'm going to jump right into what helium is used for. It's used in purging gas, controlled atmospheres, MRIs, other cryogenic, breathing, welding, lifting balloons, fiber optics, electronics, leak detection, laboratory, and other. I mean, that's a pretty diverse in its uses. That's pretty cool. My experience with helium is we would helium leak check weld and braze joints to see if that would be under leak detection. That's what we used it for, and we were checking weld joints and braze joints and fang surfaces if that fang surface was completely filled in with braze material. The market balance, this one shows that if we have a demand for 3% growth and a demand of 1.5%, so 1.5 I would say is a kind of a pretty equal balance. We would be in surplus if we had zero growth from 2016. And then we'd have a deficit and a growing deficit at a 3% growth rate. And I think we're in a deficit because if you look at the charts, I'll show you what they look like. They all look like we have a deficit. So this is Air Products and Chemicals. They are a helium supplier. Nice big long chart break here of this uptrend line. Broke up, COVID sell-off, and then it's a structural trend. The event didn't ruin it, came right back up, and we're moving on higher. So APD looks pretty good. Next is Lind. Lind is another helium supplier. Again, uptrend line, broke to the upside, COVID sell-off, still moving higher. If this breaks this little uptrend line, this thing could really get moving to the upside. So that's another company. This one's Desert Mountain Energy Corp. Right there at a resistance line, kind of its a previous high. It's chilling out, breaks to the upside. This thing looks like it's going to go. It would have been a nice one to grab it right in this area right there. Or this downtrend break. That'd be another perfect spot down here. And then you can see the momentum change. Boom, sell off, boom, sell off. Then eventually it came turning around. This one's Royal Helium. Looks like we've got a contraction here. We're coming up and it's contracting as it goes up. These things like to break to the downside, not possibly. Usually these break to the downside, but this could break to the upside depending on the market balance and the price of helium. Breaks to the upside, see a big move higher. Breaks to the downside, it could collapse down. So that's what that one looks like. I also plotted out some other subscriber. This is it for helium. There's a couple electric companies that someone wanted me to look into. This is Geely Automobile Holdings. You better hope this trend line holds in this uptrend. If it breaks to the downside, I see further downside. If this holds, we would see a move upward. What I don't like about this chart on a weekly basis is we have massive momentum coming down. There's no updates seen in here. I think it's going to break to the downside. That's my guess. This one's Electra EV, EFLVF. This would have been the spot you'd want to buy right here. See this sideways chart pattern? This resistance right here? This is a total bottoming pattern here. Came up, slow leak off, came up, slow leak off. And then you see these big up days right here. This would have been when you want to buy it right here in this area. But right here, I would not be a buyer. I'd be looking for it to go lower. BYDDY, we're in a uptrend here, broke the uptrend, and it looks like we have a move higher right on this resistance trend line, downward trend line. I think it's going to break lower. So my guess is lower for all of them. So that's what I've got. Lower for those electric vehicle companies that I'm looking at. Helium looks like it's strong going to the upside, but they've also had some pretty big runs. Would I jump into Helium right now or these electric companies? No, I wouldn't. They're too high. I look for things that are really low, starting to come off its bottom. That's where your risk is really low and your rewards are really high. It's a very large asymmetric bet. You got to be careful getting to some of these that are pushed way up there. They've already had 1,000+% returns, and the valuations are high. These, if you're going to buy it with this 1,000% up, if you're making a ton of money and the ratios still look good, then I would do it. If the ratios don't look good, then I probably wouldn't do it. So these, I don't know, I'd probably sit out on this. That's just me, but you guys can do what you want. This is not financial advice. If you guys like this content, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, leave any comments or questions below. Thanks for listening. This is Finding Value.